Hello, hola, ciao, what's good? I am Kelly Perutelli. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I am making this video today for a number of reasons. I am wearing my That's a Bar hoodie, which is merchandise that I purchased from a fellow YouTube creator's channel, Scriptwork and Planet Breakdown, Lemon Marcus. Shout out to you, flowers. I love you. And I am making this YouTube video today to talk about why I published my book, why I'm making this channel, why I made this channel, why I am wearing this hoodie. And honestly, this is totally unscripted, and so I'm just gonna see how I feel as this video goes. The first page of my book, there are dedications to the people in my life who have been close to me, my loved ones, my family, who have passed away. My mother, Susie, passed away when I was 10 years old. I love her. I still believe that my mother is with me today, watching over me as an angel. I give honor to her. She's one of the other people I give honor to. So I'm not only honoring myself first, I'm honoring myself first by writing this book and creating this channel, because I'm living the life that I truly want to live. And it's my choice, and I'm living the life that I want, which in this world that we're living in is becoming increasingly difficult to do, right? And during the time when I was writing and compiling my introduction that I'm about to read today, because this book was written over the course of 2 decades, okay? The poetry and the short stories were written over the course of 2 decades. Only within the last couple of years did I write the introduction to this book, Testimonials, and did I compile all of my already written works into this book. And around the time I was compiling this and writing my introduction is when I came across Lemon Marcus, Scriptwork, Planet Breakdown, and a bunch of other YouTube vloggers, creators, reactors, and whatnot, artists. They inspired me because they gave me enough examples of what a bar is to know that I have bars. Like, I, Kelly Perutelli, have bars. So, and that's fire. Like, I literally truly was reading and watching their content, listening to their music, watching their reacts, listening to them speak, and they gave me enough examples of what a bar is that one day I was watching Lemon Marcus, and I remember thinking, it might have been Eminem's Book of Rhymes react or something like that, because that song is fire and it came out around the time that I was compiling this, starting to. And so I love that. But anyway, they have so many good reacts on their channel, and I'm gonna plug them here on this channel again from this video. But anyway, that's one day I was watching their video and I was like, Kelly, you've got bars. Okay, Kelly Perutelli, you've got bars. They gave me enough examples of it to know that there are visual bars, there's written bars, there's spoken word bars, there's verbal bars, there's all kinds of bars. You know what I mean? And I have them. We fight back. What are you talking about right now? If you know, you know. I'm a creative person. I'm a writer. I'm a poet. I'm a storyteller. I'm an adventurer. I'm a traveler. I'm a content creator, and I have been my entire life. And the only difference now is I'm gonna get paid for it. I'm going to monetize this channel, and I'm speaking that into existence. I know I will. I believe I will. And this is only the beginning of this beautiful chapter in my life, this road that I am meant to walk, this path that I am finally on that is the right one for me. Thank you to all the people who inspired me, especially you, Lemon Marcus. That's what this is about. It's honoring myself. It's honoring my loved ones who have passed away. My mother, my 3 grandparents, okay? My mother's parents, Frank and Vicky. My father's mother, Marion Bullock Perutelli, who everyone called Honey. Okay, this is one of her books, Marion Bullock Perutelli, whom everyone called Honey. My grandma Honey was also a published author from Tennessee in the United States of America, and she published several books, 2 of her own, and was a part of 4 or 5 different anthologies in the last 20 years of her life. So writing is in my family. My mother was an artist and a writer too, low-key. I have many of her works today, and I say that in my book. Honey was a successfully published author of many books. So I just wanted to point out that I'm honoring my loved ones. I'm honoring myself. And in the first page of my book, there are dedications. Within the first few pages of my book, there are dedications to my loved ones. There are 5 people I mentioned, all to those who have passed away. My dedications are all to those who have passed away. My mother, Susie, all 3 of my grandparents that I knew, because my other grandpa passed away before I was born, and I wrote that in here. My dad's father passed away before I was born, but he's the one with Italian ancestry, whose family I met and went to see myself in Italy, all in this book, Testimonials of the Truth, and in the videos that I've posted of my travel experiences from this year and prior years on this channel already. Those pictures were taken real life on adventures that I went to see my cousins in Italy. So anyways, his wife, my grandma Honey, is mentioned in here. All 3 of my grandparents, Frank, Vicky, Honey, and my Aunt Mary Jo, all of whom I have lost and who have passed away. I dedicate this book to honor them, to honor myself first, then my loved ones, then people like Lemon Marcus, who are living their best lives to try and be their selves and do what they love and want to do to get paid as a career to support their families. And as black men in America, which I cannot imagine, God bless you and your families. Thank you for all the beautiful, good, positive content you put out and all that you risked to do so. There will be a link in the description of this video for my book Testimonials through Barnes & Noble Self-Publishing House for now. Soon to come will be Ingram Sparks, Indie Authors, National Organization for Indie Authors in the United States. And of course, there will be a link in the description to Scriptwork Planet Breakdown, Lemon Marcus's channel. Go subscribe to their channel, please, to support them in this plug. Their link is going to be in the description. Like and view some of their videos for some great content, for some really good, dope, bueno content. Please subscribe to my channel and please subscribe to theirs. It's free to subscribe. It's free to create a YouTube account. Please like this video and check out the links in the description to my book and to their channel. Peace, love, and respect. Hug life. I won't take your tagline, but I'm just going to say that in this video, in your video that I made, hug life. I'm making this video because, one, I want to talk about why I'm making this channel. And I'm making this channel because the things that I'm doing on this channel, the travel vlogging, the lifestyle how-tos, the educational story sharing, the creativity sharing, creating content like poetry, short stories, writing. Those are things that I already love to do in life. They're things that I've been doing for the last decade and a half. They're things that I enjoy, I truly love. So I believe that we deserve to get paid to live the life that we want. And in the world that we're living in today, it becomes increasingly harder and harder to do that. And I realize that a lot of people on earth, if not most people, especially in the time that we're living in today, cannot do that, are unable to do that. And so not only am I going to talk about today why I decided to create this YouTube channel and why I wrote my book, which is put as beautifully and eloquently as I wanted it to be written in the introduction of my book. So I'm actually going to read the part of my introduction, which is a couple pages long, that talks about why I wrote my book, who I am, a little bit about who I am, and what led up to me writing this book this year in 2022, me becoming a self-published author in the United States of America and in a couple of countries in Europe. So I'm going to talk about that. The truth is, I'm a very privileged human being, and I'm aware of that. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful and very thankful for my life and for all the opportunities that I've been given. I'm thankful for the education that my father worked hard for, that my family provided for me. I'm thankful for the education that I have had, the level of education that I've had. I'm thankful for the experiences I've had in my life, the life lessons I've learned. I'm thankful for my opportunities to travel. I'm thankful for the opportunity to publish a book. I'm thankful for the resources to publish that book. And all of that was said in my book. And so the way my mind was in the beginning of this, even though being aware to some degree of the other energies and the other things in the world, and the people who don't have as great of opportunities from having worked in the social work field for years, seeing the way different cultures, people live around the world, I was already becoming increasingly aware that I am a very privileged person. So I don't have entitlements. You know, I spent a large portion of my life living for other people, whether it be in toxic relationships, to be honest, codependent relationships, which I wrote about in my book, and or just jobs that I did not want to do, working for the man, which I realize most people on earth are probably doing jobs that they don't want to do, to support their families, to pay their bills, to get through life. So this video is honoring the people in the world who I know can't, as well as talking about who I am. I want to honor people like Lemon Marcus who have family. This is to honor women around the world who can't even come outside of their homes without uncovering their faces, much less engage in literacy. I want to honor Black Americans, Black people in the United States who might be afraid to go outside, who might be afraid to drive a car because of police and gun violence, who might be afraid of walking down the streets because of gang affiliation, who might be afraid to have positive content on their channel because they know it doesn't get views, it doesn't pay the bills, it won't support their families. You know, for all the artists and content creators and reactors and pages who put out their own art, their own music, but their negative reactions get more views and more attention than their good quality, dope, fire. How many languages can I say the word good? Dope, bueno. Bella is beautiful in Italiano. Bella vista is beautiful view. Bella musica is beautiful music. Dope, good, beautiful. To all the people who put out good quality, dope, bueno, bella, beautiful music, beautiful art of their own, and their own art didn't get as much attention as the negative reactions, as the negative responses to diss tracks and drama and trolling or whatever the case may be. This is for all the people who feel like they can't be themselves, feel like they can't put out what they really want to put out for whatever reason. Okay, this is to honor all the people who feel like they can't put out good, real content and be themselves. Like, this is for me, my loved ones who have passed away, all the people I know who have loved ones who have passed away, and all of the living artists who feel like they still can't be themselves, who still can't put out the content that they want, who still can't walk their true path and follow their true dreams and do what they love, which is to make music, to do art, whatever the case may be, because they feel obligated, they feel ashamed, or they feel like they won't succeed. Because the world has proven to them time and time again, can you blame them, that negativity is going to get more attention. But that's why I'm highlighting Lemon Marcus. That's why. For the record, I'm not judging anyone about the kind of negative content they may or may not be putting out into the world. I'm honoring the people who I have loved, including myself, who have chosen to emulate positivity, love, light, peace, and truth and respect. I am not judging. I am honoring. I want to honor the people who are treated unjustly. I want to honor the people around the world who are not literate. I want to honor people who cannot read and write. I want to honor people who are dyslexic and cannot read a book. Because the truth is, in the beginning, part of me thought, I said everything that I wanted to say in this book. I spent years writing it and about a year compiling and editing it myself. I did not hire an editor. I did not hire anyone to filter through this. And I say that in the introduction. But acknowledging that not all people on earth can read and write, I am going to speak my spoken word on this channel and read directly from my book out loud with my voice. I'm going to use my power for good and honor all of the people who cannot read this, all the people who requested spoken word, all the people who don't have the opportunity to publish, who cannot read and write, who are in communist countries, who can't even go outside without expressing themselves, without fear of being shot and killed. I am honoring the people who are responsible for other life besides themselves, who have children, who have pets, who have bills they have to pay. I am acknowledging how grateful I am, how thankful I am to have as much freedom as I do, to only be responsible for myself, to have the education at 33 years old to publish a book. So the thing about Scriptwork, Planet Breakdown, Lemon Marcus, who I got this hoodie from, the reason why they in particular, out of a lot of other reactors and YouTube creators, had a special impact on me, why they in particular inspired me to do this, is because when you take on the power of a platform, whether it be for yourself or a group of people, or the world in this case, because YouTube is a viral global community for anyone on earth who has access to internet, as it is free to create an account and public to be viewed. So when you take on that power, it's actually a responsibility to yourself, to your loved ones, and to the world really, to use that power however you want, because I believe in freedom first. But I also believe, and I say this in my book eloquently, and hopefully when I read my introduction, it will tell you a lot about who I am, why I published my book, exactly what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it, and in regards to them, in regards to myself, my book, and this channel. But I believe that you can tell the truth in a kind, beautiful, good way, focusing and highlighting on positive things, because whatever you focus your attention on, whatever your mind focuses its attention on, whatever energy you're feeding into is the energy that intensifies. So yes, sometimes it's necessary to vent and vent out negative things, which I say in my book exactly how I want to say it, and how I'm going to read you verbatim in just a moment here, how I wrote it in my book, in my introduction of Testimonials by Perutelli. But Lemon Marcus do a beautiful job of telling the truth first, keeping it real first, practicing freedom first as best they can, considering the fact that they're responsible for themselves, their families, they have children they're trying to take care of. God bless them. And yet they're trying to stay true to themselves and be themselves and keep it real first. And yet they find a beautiful, balanced way of doing that, kindly, respectfully, with love and dignity, and they emulate love and dignity, and you can tell that they try to keep it light. They try to focus on positive things. They laugh when negative things happen. You know, you can tell that love is their frequency, in my opinion. So that being said, I want to honor them. I want to honor all the people who are responsible for other people, other life besides themselves, when considering the content that they put out. And in promoting their own art and their own music, and the fact that the world we're living in today, there's so much negativity on the news, in the media, on social media. There's so much false information. There's so much censoring going on. There's so much attacking of freedom of speech. There's so much fighting between brothers and sisters in humanity. There's so much fighting between people, between political sides, between creeds, between ethnicities, between sexual orientations. There's a lot of negativity in the world. So if you're brave enough and strong enough and kind enough and good enough to keep things light, to focus on love, to focus on positive things, to emulate that kind of energy, and to perpetuate good energy and focus on good positive things in the world, if you can do that, God bless the people who are, or who are trying, especially if they have other people to consider besides themselves, especially if their freedom is at risk of being compromised. You know, I am only responsible for myself, so that's all the more reason why I wanted to publish my book. It's one of many reasons why I published my book, because I can. Because I have the time and energy to do it. Because I really believe these things, and that's what I love to do, and that's what I was already doing for years. So I'm going to say that as spoken word on this channel, in this virtual YouTube community. I'm going to put my true voice out into the world in my face, and just like I did my written word in this book. So, that being said, thank you. Everything else I need to say is in this introduction. I'm going to read this introduction directly from my book, from the computer, because it's easier to read that way. But this is a direct reading from my introduction that I've written within the past couple of years, okay? Here we go. For as long as I can remember, I have been a writer. At first, I would just find myself pen to paper, devoid of any thought, subconsciously watching my hand move back across the pages, almost in a trance, again and again for several moments without stopping until I was finally forced to, from the sheer pain in my right hand alone. Truth and energy just naturally flowing out of me onto paper, bringing hard but necessary truths to light. It was the one and only thing that I did entirely and completely for myself for many years. I was highlighting my life and I enjoyed it. I chose it as it chose me. The beauty of truth is that the things you do freely and truly for yourself in this capacity, the things that you truly love doing, are the things that also end up being the best for the world in the end as well. Therefore, this kind of self-love is not selfish, but absolutely necessary. In the beginning, it was a therapeutic outlet of sorts. There were some things that I did not know how to express to the ones I loved, even and sometimes especially to my own family, but they just had to come out. There were also times as a woman in this world controlled by mostly straight alpha men that I did not feel like I had a voice in society, and this was also a way to give myself one, completely uninhibited, unregulated, totally free. There was a part of myself that seemed to be the most crucial and yet the least recognizable to everyone else around me. But something inside of me knew that this part of me was the part I wanted navigating my life, despite the way they have made the world we are living in today. That part of me, I believe, was the sacred inner voice I had been struggling to find and convey that many call the spirit or the soul, Atman perhaps, the fire, the universal flame. Which is a perfect example of how the same things typically have multiple names, as I will say again. Then as I got older and experienced not just quantity of years lived, but a particular set or a specific type of unique experiences, I began to discover that I truly love writing. The more I wrote, the more I realized how elevated was my potential for it, as I seemed to have a raw and natural gift for it, as one of my elementary school teachers had once put it. I knew I was really good at it too, because many employers took advantage of my writing skills for many years, which were merely listed as a bullet point on my resume instead of simply describing who I am. But that's not why I loved it either. I love it because that innermost part of me understands that writing is a beautiful way to naturally and creatively enter the timeless dimension of the unseen. It was like accessing a holy and precious part of myself that I could not tap into otherwise. The process itself, like a transmutation, was really quite miraculous, and I've just always done it. I also knew that once I put it on paper, it could potentially become eternal. It would be made manifest, if you will. Maybe one day, long after I was dead and gone, it could be read by others, I thought. It could maybe make a positive difference, who knows? Either way, it was something I chose to do over and over again in my own free time for myself because I truly enjoyed it and the natural beauty that flowed from it. I also loved the way it made me feel, which was more joyful and more peaceful than I normally felt in everyday life. I love art and the creative process that poetry and writing bring forth in me and out of me. I was putting my true voice and my truest self out into the world, even if no one heard it yet. I love the beauty and truth that come with artistic expression and literacy. I believe in freedom of expression, and I believe in bringing truth to light, which makes it real and therefore heals. I believe that truth ultimately leads to freedom and light, even if not at first. I also now believe that it's extremely important for us human beings to use our voices and speak our unique truths, especially here on earth now more than ever. Unfiltered, real, raw, true, and without distortion or censorship. I no longer take political sides as I once did because I now know the real game and how the man uses politics to pit us against one another to make enemies out of our fellow brothers and sisters in humanity. to cause us to fight one another, to pit us against one another, intended to deflect us from who the real enemy is. Therefore, when I say cancel culture is another one of the man's great gimmicks, it doesn't mean I've chosen a side. There are truths and lies on both sides, to be honest, and if you're really paying attention, you'd see that a lot of the arguments they create don't even really make sense the way they've been framed. But I digress. All of our voices matter, okay? Even if they are sending subliminal messages to us that ours do not. I believe it's important to tell our unique stories. That being said, I will make it clear that I truly never intended to publish these works of mine. For many years, I wondered if someone, maybe my loved ones, would find them someday long after I was dead and gone, like Anne Frank or Anthony Bourdain or something. Later, I realized, though, that this would mean somebody else would be editing and filtering through them their own way in the end, and it would no longer be as truly authentically mine. Give people their flowers while they are alive. Support living artists. Another thing Lemon Marcus taught me. From the book, it directly says, give people their flowers while they are alive, as they have said in the hip-hop and rap communities and in various songs and settings, which basically means give people their credit where credit is due now. Give people their props, shout-outs, compliments, affirmations, support, comfort, love, honor, respect, flowers. Some say the true artistic beings in life never seek publication on their own because they were never seeking fame, recognition, or wealth in the first place. And this was true for me. I was never seeking any of those things. I don't want or need to be famous at all. And quite frankly, I don't care how this book is perceived. Direct quote from my book. Because if you understand and respect art in the creative process, you know not to take any of it personally. And that true artists are doing this for themselves, to be themselves, which automatically deserves respect and love, especially in the world we're living in today, where no one even knows what's real anymore. That is why I support freedom of speech, and also because I believe in asking hard questions and engaging in the tough conversations in order to overcome the fears of the ego and bring truth to light and love. I believe freedom of speech is one of the basic rights granted to all human beings, no matter your color, ethnicity, creed, sexual orientation, gender, culture. Doesn't matter. I do care about the feelings and perspectives of a few rare individuals left in my life who I know truly love and believe in me unconditionally. And I am not intending to hurt or disrespect anyone, but this is not about anyone else. This introduction is from my book because the book was not about anyone else. The YouTube channel is not about anyone else. But this particular video is honoring myself, my family members who have passed away, and the living artists. I am doing this for myself in the purest sense possible, and so if any of my loved ones takes this expression of mine personally, it would only prove which part of them is normally navigating, and that they do not really understand me or what the creative process is really about. I have finally gotten to the point in my life, though, where I don't need them to. You can love and respect people without understanding them. It happens all the time. For the record, the only people's names I mention in this book from my personal life are the people who have already passed away. I hadn't intended to publish anything until I finally read some of my poems and short stories to the people I was teaching English to through the Literacy Center of West Michigan to help them learn English, to my Italian cousins in Italy, and to a few neutral, successful artists who could give me an objective, non-biased opinion. And they are the ones who all strongly advocated and encouraged me to publish this now. They said I must. They said it might do others well to hear it, that the people need it with everything going on in the world, and that some people might just need to see that it's even possible. They said women spent the better part of human history without even being able to engage in literacy, without basic rights. They said some people might not even know that they needed it until they read it, to acknowledge the truth of that universal sacred inner voice and to know that they are not alone. One of them said, first books are usually fire, straight flame, and we don't believe this will be your first book, as writing has been in your family. Another one of them said, this is the real you, this is truth. and it's really good. Why not share it with the world? Why not share your own unique story? Why not share your light and beauty in your own way? Finally, I decided to publish keeping all of that in mind. However, the main reason I am publishing is because for the first time in my life, this is about real self-love and self-trust. It is about how I see, define, and label me, myself, and I, what I truly love and want to do to be happy and to be myself. This is my story and my life, and I am the one who gets to tell it my way. I am embracing my own God-given power and voice, which I believe overall to be for the sake of good. I have always been a writer, and I'm really just tired of hiding that innermost part of myself from the world. The main modes of success I sought with this book are simply that. Therefore, to simply be myself, my truest self, to do what I love freely, and to tell my own story in my own way were my only goals with publishing. This is my way of doing something truly good for myself, and I believe, therefore, for the world. And that's all that I hope for with this. And so if this publication does end up demonstrating to others that it is possible to be yourself and follow your dreams in this crazy world we're living in today, then great. But again, that would just be an added bonus for me. If this book really can inspire or give hope to others to do the same for themselves in their own lives, and this may be a truly great thing, and perhaps it is God's will. But all will be revealed by the universe in time. All in good time. We will see, the wise woman said, which leads me closer to the now. After a series of unhealthy relationships, spending the better part of my earlier life pursuing higher education to get a master's degree in social work, only to discover how corrupt the system unfortunately is, and the legal problems that resulted around the time of these realizations, my career in that field came to an end. Then I realized the corporate side of the enemy's modus operandi, working for auto insurance for 3 years, and I realized that was definitely not my cup of tea either. Sitting at a desk all day is never how I want to spend my precious life ever again. So I did what I do best, and I began to think outside the box. I began to wonder around this time if my mother hadn't passed away when I was young, if I maybe would have majored in English instead of social work, but I accepted that we can never really go back, and that everything that has ever happened to me has led me here, and I have never believed in coincidences. Finally, after the horrific phenomenon of the pandemic isolation, which forced me to sit with myself and care for myself alone for nearly 2 whole years alone, healing doing this, I approached a crossroads in my life, and I knew I had to make a decision about which road to take. So I asked God for a sign. Literally a few days later, I ran into a wonderful lady at the laundromat of all places whom I had never met, who I ended up spontaneously having a profoundly important conversation with. She said, "Oh, Kelly, good woman. You've got a book in you, don't you? You need to write it. Truth is healing and therefore ultimately good." We had talked a great deal about aspects in our lives that we had in common, which she seemed to have great spiritual insight into. Notably, she was a black woman who told me she had been born and raised within the United States and who is therefore in one of the most difficult positions to be in on earth when it comes to the society and world they have made. And yet, she went on to tell me, hate, slavery, pride, lust, and greed are some of the greatest of evils, but they are all rooted in power. Therefore, all of those things have never been about race, color, creed, or even gender, but about power. It all comes down to power in energy, she said. So have you embraced yours yet, Kelly? She said. Have you found where your own beautiful, unique light lives? Are you my angel? I responded back to her in comical awe. I believe it is the power of the Holy Spirit, she answered solemnly. And I believe God is telling you now through me what you must do. I cannot take credit for being the messenger. I got goosebumps. I closed my eyes and listened to my heart beating and my breath going up and down to its rhythm. I was alive. And the energy within me was flowing, rushing, practically pouring over, waiting to erupt. All right, God, I said, I hear you. Thank you truly. Shortly after this, when I began editing and compiling all of my already partially compiled content and came up with my book title, Testimonials, a series of other awe-inspiring signs and synchronicities began to unfold in my life like a lotus blossom. which in some ancient cultures represents the symbol for unfolding energies. What transpired in the months that followed was nothing short of small miracles. Since the age of 6, I have filled dozens of black and white journals, cover to cover, and countless others of various sizes, all by hand. Upon completing any poem, lyrical ballad, non-fictional short story, or real entry in mi libro, which in Spanish and Italian, Español and Italiano, mi libro is my book. And I do speak multiple languages and I do have multiple accents. Side note, I'll continue reading verbatim from the book now. Therefore, everything that has ever been fully and wholly written by me was signed K.A.P. in all of my original writings, which are the initials of my full entire name. Therefore, here, I will only do that at the end of this introduction in my book and my sections for obvious reasons. Everything in this book was written, edited, and compiled fully and wholly by me alone over the course of several years. All of that being said, this first book is a compilation of poetry and non-fictional stories that I have written over the past 2 decades, the likes of which I can simply no longer keep hidden from the world. It is a collection of some of my favorites thus far, finally typed, edited, and compiled, that I think may be pertinent for the world we are living in today. It was intended to firstly and foremostly be a paperback book that people could hold in their hands instead of read behind a screen. But I respect people's choices, and again, I'm here to honor myself, my loved ones who have passed, and all of the living artists today. Some call what I write autobiographical memoirs, but I have never been fond of the man's labels. What I edited were really only some minute amounts of grammar and formatting, but even that I'm sure one might have already picked up on. I created my own way for. I wanted this to be as true of a reflection of my original flow on paper as it possibly could be. Not editing much of my original content or the way I write with unconventional rules, but only the way it was compiled. I also tried to list most of these pieces chronologically as they were written throughout my life, some of them written decades ago with some exceptions, and with this introduction being written more recently. However, sometimes it seems like the stories are jumping around in time as bits and pieces were written long ago, while some others were written and added in more recently. But as I have already found in life, even when we humans try to make things linear, they rarely turn out to be. Overall, I believe my tone to be positive and full of light and love, just like my heart. I have a heart of gold. So even if some of the content may not seem positive at first, I believe it is. I believe life is a precious gift. And to me, healing and truth are very good and necessary things in life. I don't believe in censoring ourselves anymore to make other people temporarily feel better about themselves if what you are speaking is your truth. I believe in being yourself, even though I spent far too long in life remaining silent in these ways for the sake of others. I also believe in being able to tell your truth in as kind and as in a respectful way as you are able, because I also believe in balance. And again, Lem and Marcus do this beautifully. I have learned through my own unique life experiences that keeping truths locked inside of you without acknowledging them, letting them out, or releasing them, if you will, can be much more harmful than an initial pang of truth. That is why freedom of speech and expression are so important right now, especially in the world we are living in today. We human beings should be able to talk about these things. It is physically and mentally a detriment to your health and to the world not to get your truths out properly. That is why it's important to have healthy outlets and to practice your release. And Lemon Marcus taught me that too. I believe in our freedoms and our truths right along with love, peace, and respect. And I know now that it is not only possible to do both, but if you truly love yourself and others, sometimes you simply must let go while alive. Truth for me, I now prefer first. Living truth and true love really do set us free. For a long time, I avoided fully being myself around people that I did not feel like I could tell my truths to, but this book solidifies the ending of that. Because again, this is not about how other people see me, it's about how I see myself. I see myself as beautiful. I love traveling and writing, so I will see myself as both a traveler and a writer. I already am both. I have always believed in the Spirit, but now I believe that anything is possible for those who truly believe. I wanted to thank anyone who picks up this book, reads it online, finds the translations, or hears the audio someday, or to anyone who came to one of my events from the bottom of my heart. And now, I thank everyone who's watching this channel and hearing my voice. Thank you so much for taking the time to read my story and hear my voice. I am honored by your presence in this. I am truly thankful for any support and love for others, for this book, and for the creative process of any artist seeking a different way. I am also very grateful for the opportunity to publish and for the time and energy to do it. First and foremost, I'm alive. I believe that all life has value. I have a kind, caring, and brave heart that believes in God and in the good in most others and in myself. I am a valuable human being and a free-spirited, old artist soul. My energy is powerful and my will is strong. I am a good woman of earth. I have a female body and elements. I have an adventurous and determined spirit that is full of bright light and energy. I have faith in all of the greatness we human beings are capable of. I have white skin, red hair, and blue eyes. I was raised within a privileged, upper middle class, Catholic Christian, white American family, never quite feeling like I fit in anywhere. That is who I am, and this is what I do. Together I call this compilation of my written truths, my poetry, my rhymes, my stories, my real life experiences, my true thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and epiphanies, my testimonials. I hope they resonate with every fiber of your being, but either way, I am happy to finally just put this out into the world and to simply be as I am. So from my soul to yours, I tell you sincerely, no one knows you better than you know yourself. No one but God. Believe in yourself. Do not be afraid. Love and trust yourself by being yourself. And remember that being yourself is another way of saying, live in the now or in the present moment with God. Stay awake with and in God's presence, in the force, in the energy of life that is conscious light and present being. Being present is presence in God's being. Presence is in being. Living in the present moment fully, wholly, freely, truly, and consciously is being yourself in the material world. If you believe in a higher power, or that all life has value, that automatically includes yourself, and you are therefore never really alone.